Section 5 of Foreclosures, the people side of foreclosure. Realtor protection. Foreclosure is a process that can arouse very strong emotions in those directly involved and thus can be one of the most challenging situations for the realtor. A real estate licensee who is facilitating the sale of the defaulting person's home or business may often be seen as the front line of the enemy. Realtors need to be aware that people may react to them in a hostile or otherwise challenging manner. Care must be taken to avoid unwanted and unnecessary disputes. It is well known that domestic disputes are one of the most dangerous situations for police. The realtor can become a target and scapegoat for people's frustrations. It would be very helpful for the realtors to be able to identify which types of people can be dangerous. Challenging sellers and tenants. During the foreclosure process, expect that sellers and tenants may be challenging for different reasons. The owner is dealing with shame and embarrassment at not being able to meet their financial obligations, may cope with humiliation in unique ways. Tenants will feel righteous indignation about being caught up in the disastrous situation. Whoever you are dealing with in these complicated times, tenant or owner, it is always a good idea to be prepared. As you approach people, imagine how you would feel if you were forced into their position. Tenants. Consider that the tenants could be angry, upset, or otherwise difficult to deal with for a number of reasons. The owner probably will have kept them in the dark until the last possible minute. No matter how much the owner-landlord has told them, the tenants will most likely resent him or her for putting them in an awkward position. They will likely feel some contempt for their landlord's mismanagement of finances, and the tenants will not want to deal with the inconvenience of having realtors, buyers, and appraisers in and out of their home or business, and they will not want to deal with the uncertainty of guessing if and or when they will have to move. Often for them, it will be at the most inconvenient time. Coping styles. When realtors converse with owners and tenants, it is quite possible that they will take out their frustrations on them. How they react to these circumstances and deal with their shame or anger will be determined by their personalities. There are recognizable profiles, and according to communication specialists, people fall into one of 5 basic coping styles. These coping styles are the same for both owners and tenants when dealing with their feelings. The following descriptions are abbreviated thumbnail sketches of the different styles of coping. For more information, refer to Virginia Satir's bestseller called New People Making. Accommodating. If you are lucky, you will run into the accommodating style of person. These individuals want to know how they can help or make things easier for you. They will put your needs first. Be sure to let them know that you are not taking them for granted and that you appreciate their cooperation. They pose virtually no difficulty level except for trying too hard to help. Reasonable calculating. The second style of owners tenants you can expect to find are calculating, reasonable, cool, and matter of fact. They are logical, very responsible, and appear to have no stress. These people present no problem normally. Be sure to be explicit about welcoming negative feedback because they won't express negative feelings directly. Distracted, disorganized. The third style will be rather distracted and disorganized, and perhaps even treat everything as a joke. They will often ask irrelevant questions and seem like they are creating conversation to waste time. They will appear to be removed from their situations. Be careful when you see this pattern. Be prepared for Murphy's Law to kick in, since these individuals will not take the process seriously. Their behavior will be non-committal. In these cases, take charge and confidently lead them through the process. These individuals mainly tend to be all over the place and are never focused on what realistically needs to be done. This style could be problematic because, in letting you down in some primary way, they might also trigger a conflict producing response from you. Should you be unable to refocus the conversation when they are going off on a tangent, gently steer them back to the topic rather than try to over control them. Remember, these people rarely intend to cause problems for you. Exaggerating. The fourth style of owners tenants have a preoccupation with their own anxieties and how the predicament will affect them personally. These people will be too overwhelmed to follow and remember what you say. They tend to be difficult at times because they will magnify the potential negative consequences and aspects of the process. With these individuals, be prepared to answer any number of questions about worst case scenarios and remote possibilities. This would be an especially appropriate occasion to provide a written copy of anything you wish them to remember. Combining understanding with reassurance and leadership throughout the process can minimize the number of panic calls you receive. Warmly invite them to call you if they need information, reassurance, or clarification. This permissive and open door policy will go a long way to alleviate their worries. They may call you about matters that might seem inconsequential. However, it is best to assertively combine respect and understanding for such individuals' concerns. These people are often accompanied by lifelong tendencies to panic, reactions, and anxieties, fussing about the tiniest details and anything that could potentially go wrong. Blaming. One of these coping styles involves a hostile or irate way of coping called blaming. This is the most difficult for most of us to deal with. You may come across owners and tenants in a blaming mode, and they will see you as the obvious person to give an earful to and generally vent at. These are the people who need to be handled with the most care because they may well take out their frustrations by making complaints against you or by being litigious. That means want to take you to court, especially if you handle them with a fight fire with fire attitude. Do not be surprised at any obstructions that might surface. Be prepared for the unexpected. Avoid confrontational statements that may cause these individuals to have a hair-triggered response such as, "What's your problem?" The main thing to remember is that they will be easy to deal with as long as you can explain things in their terms. Understanding the whys and whats and the details that affect them can turn potential adversarial situations into win-win situations. By taking the lion's share of responsibility for making things work, the realtor can minimize difficulties. However, no matter what, a few of these individuals are lifelong complainers who may well hassle you or your agent regardless of how much you go out of your way to minimize conflict with them. Diffusing volatile situations involving blaming and challenging individuals. The blaming individuals would be the most likely to become irate. Things may escalate if they are challenged, and it is implied that they have a problem. They may begin to use you as a scapegoat. Recognizing these hair-trigger individuals is rarely difficult because they typically question and challenge you in an intense, hostile manner. Avoid socializing with these people and do not pussyfoot around with them. Avoid being perceived as taking them for granted, falsely accusing them or deceiving or duping them in any way. They are especially disgusted by any sign that you are patronizing. These are the red flags, the minefields, and time bombs that trigger these types of individuals. It is up to you to take the responsibility for avoiding confrontation and conflict. If there is any hint of adversity, take a firm stance on your part. Be direct and businesslike at all times. Remember that Even those who start out friendly and use non-blaming stances are sometimes prone to blame at some point. Plan for it just in case. You cannot prevent all conflicts no matter how prepared you are. Should you be faced with an adversarial situation, the best thing you can do, if you cannot calm the person, is to excuse yourself. Return to the office and regroup. If the person is making false assumptions, walk away. The profile of your clients and how they act is one thing, but you are the other part of the equation, and your own coping style can make a difference. Dealing with each of these people has the same implications as getting to know anyone. Think of it as you would any other relationship. Some might be more compatible than others. Ask yourself what sorts of people and coping styles you have the most difficulty with and what you can do to overcome this. And that's the end of Section 5. Stay tuned for Section 6.